Lawbreeze and Gentlegrams, day by day, more and more bars from the Kendrick and Drake beef become more and more prophetic as they age. You remember when Drake rapped,
"Hey, Kendrick just opened his mouth, and I'm about to put my dick in it right now."
Sorry, that was the Diddy remix. I was thinking of these bars.
"Kendrick just opened his mouth, someone go hand him a Grammy right now."
And it seems like the Grammys are still trying to apologize to Kendrick for giving Macklemore the rap album of the year way back in 2013 over Good Kid, Mad City, because nowadays, whenever Kendrick opens his mouth, the Grammys shovel awards down in it the same way Akademiks swallows Big Macs and Drake's meat. And I think it's about to be time that the Gram starts suing the Grammys, because the Grammys are coming up in 5 days, maybe even less. I'm bad at counting days, but I'm good at counting Drake L's, and Kendrick Lamar, when I tell you, is about to Michael Jackson moonwalk, Millie Bobby Brown, Millie Rock, all over Drake's grave at this award show. This Sunday night, we are about to witness history in so many different ways, and the craziest part is that it won't even be as historic as the following Sunday, when Kendrick will likely perform Not Like Us in front of hundreds of millions of people on the Super Bowl stage. We've already seen official NFL trailers with the instrumental of that song.
Halftime show, catch Kendrick Lamar on the top of his game. It's February 9th on Fox.
And a couple other indicators that Kendrick will end up performing it, regardless of how much legal action Drake threatens with, but that's a story for another video. The Grammys, let's focus on the Grammys, because Kendrick can make history there in multiple different ways. Firstly, he's likely to hit the milestone of 20 Grammy wins in his entire career on Sunday night, as he's currently had 17 different wins and he's nominated for 7 different awards this year. Most of them are for Not Like Us, which is crazy in and of itself because I don't think a diss track has ever received this many Grammy Award nominations. But yeah, he's looking at Best Rap Song and Best Rap Performance with both Not Like Us and Like That with Future and Metro Boomin both being nominated in those categories. Not Like Us is nominated for Best Music Video of the Year, and then it's also nominated in 2 of the main categories for Record of the Year and Song of the Year. And I don't think a lot of you guys realize the magnitude of Kendrick winning in one of these main categories. I know the Grammys in 2025 don't have nearly the same cultural impact, importance, relevance, respect, significance, influence, any word you want to use, and rightfully so, right? Firstly, obviously with the decline of people watching cable TV, the Grammys have received a smaller audience year after year. But beyond that, I feel like people have just given up on seeking validation from the committee of voters or looking at a Grammy win as some sort of stamp of approval or benchmark to determine how high the quality of your artistry is. In this internet age, it's never been more about the fans, the community you build, etc. But it is still a statement when the biggest award show in music deems your song to be the defining record of the year, the best in its genre, the artist going up on stage to accept the award and make a speech.
Everybody want to know what I would do if I didn't win. I guess we'll never know.
It's still a memorable and cherished moment by fans of the artist or of the music in general. So for a diss song, arguably the most successful diss song of all time, to win not just any award, but a Grammy in the main category absolutely speaks volumes to the reach that that song has had and the detriment that it's done to Drake's career. Like, just imagine after just a couple tweets, one interview in a magazine, and basically silence aside from that, Kendrick has not said a word about Not Like Us. For the first thing for him to say about that record being during an acceptance speech for a Grammy for that song and making history by winning in the main category for a song where he's calling Drake a PDF, I don't think I have to explain to you the magnitude of what that speech would be like. And on a side note, as I'm editing this video, an announcement was made saying that a mystery artist is performing at the Grammys this year, and the artist will have an extra time of approximately 8 to 10 minutes more than double that of the other performers. Kendrick was never announced officially as a performer, but the Grammys are taking place in his hometown of LA. People are theorizing that this mystery guest could either be him or Beyonce, and it would make sense it's him because typically when you're heavily nominated at the Grammys, historically artists return the favor by actually giving a performance at the award show. So it would make sense that Kendrick both wins the awards and also does a performance, possibly of the song, at the Grammys. Plus, it would be a longer performance. This mystery artist has an extra 8 to 10 minutes than the average performer, meaning if it is Kendrick, we might see him do a medley of like all his different eras, different songs from each of his albums, maybe a whole GNX themed performance. So not only will we possibly see Kendrick win Song or Record of the Year for Not Like Us, not only will we possibly see Not Like Us performed at the Super Bowl, Not only will Kendrick go up and make an acceptance speech for that song, which he's never really spoken on publicly, not only will we also see Kendrick probably perform the song multiple times during his Toronto stadium shows this summer, but there's a possibility that we may see Not Like Us actually performed at the Grammys. And what's crazy is there's a very strong chance Kendrick is going to take home those awards in the main category. We're going to get to that shortly in this video. But as for why it would be so insane for him to win in this main category, let me explain, and it's going to open your eyes as to why year after year people take the Grammys less and less seriously, because this is an absolute joke, alright? Firstly, aside from the heavy lack of hip-hop placements in the song, record, and album of the year categories, the few times over the last damn near 30 years that hip-hop songs have been nominated in these categories, they have lost every single time except for Childish Gambino with This Is America in 2019. I want to take you through just some of the examples here. All the way back in 1990, you had MC Hammer, who was nominated for Record of the Year with You Can't Touch This. He lost to Phil Collins. Then in 1996, we skipped completely over Nas, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, Pac, Big, amongst others, and Coolio was nominated in 96 for Record of the Year with Gangsta's Paradise. Amazing song, R.I.P. to Coolio, but it lost to Eric Clapton. In 1999, Lauryn Hill was nominated with Doo-Wop for Record of the Year. She lost to Celine Dion. 2001, Eminem was nominated for Record of the Year with The Real Slim Shady. He lost to U2. 2002, Outkast was nominated for Miss Jackson for Record of the Year. They lost to Norah Jones. 2003, Outkast again with Hey Ya and Eminem with Lose Yourself for Record and Song of the Year. They lost to Coldplay. 2004, Kanye West was nominated for Jesus Walks for Song of the Year. He lost to John Mayer. In 2008, Rihanna and Jay-Z were nominated for Umbrella. They lost to Amy Winehouse's Rehab. Rihanna again in 2011 with Eminem for Love the Way You Lie was nominated Record of the Year. They lost to Lady Antebellum. I haven't heard that name in over a decade at least. 2012, Rihanna again, All of the Lights with Kanye West. Song of the Year lost to Adele, Rolling in the Deep. 2014, the Grammy poster boy Macklemore was nominated for Song of the Year with Thrift Shop. He lost to Lord Royals. 2015, Iggy Azalea with Fancy. Thank God that song didn't win nothing. It was nominated somehow for Record of the Year. It lost to Sam Smith. 2016, Kendrick got his first nomination in this category with All Right. Song of the Year lost to Ed Sheeran. Again, Kendrick in 2018 with Humble. Lost to Bruno Mars with 24K Magic. 2019 is when Childish Gambino won. Then you had Kendrick again in 2023 with The Heart Part 5 for Record of the Year, and that lost to Lizzo's About Damn Time. So I think with all these nominations, it's about damn time Kendrick wins an award in one of these main categories. And again, he'd be making history, not only because it'd be the first time a diss song ever won in these categories, but it would be one of the first times that a real hip-hop song ever won Song or Record of the Year at the Grammys in the last 30 years. Break it down. All these incredible songs, not one of them has ever won an award in these categories. Not Like Us has a very strong chance of breaking that curse. The strongest chance out of any song that it's nominated up against. Again, we're going to touch on that in a few seconds. But the reason I put Kendrick Lamar's album covers in the thumbnail to Pimp a Butterfly, Good Kid, Mad City, and Damn, well, at least I think I haven't done the thumbnail yet, but I'll probably put them in the thumbnail. I'm including them because they were all nominated. Those are the 3 Kendrick albums that have been nominated for Album of the Year in the main category. All of them lost. They've been snubbing Kendrick left and right at the Grammys in general, but mainly in these main categories. So for Not Like Us to break the curse of Kendrick getting snubbed in these main categories, but not just that, hip-hop in general getting snubbed in these main categories, it'd be a revolutionary change for the Grammys, and it would emphasize the revolutionary change that that song has brought onto hip-hop in general. Break it down. We're about to see it win in a main category at the Grammys, and then see him perform it on the biggest stage in America a week later. A song calling the other biggest rapper in the world a PDF is about to receive the most widespread, prestigious attention and accolades that a hip-hop song has really ever received in history. Now you might be wondering, Rapaholics, how the hell are you going to say Not Like Us is about to win Record or Song of the Year before the Grammys have even happened? And to that, I'll say we got some deep diving to do. So Billboard recently came out with an article saying, is a Kendrick Lamar 2025 Grammy sweep really that certain? It reads, next month, all eyes will be on the rap field, where Kendrick Lamar could sweep the single categories with either Not Like Us or Like That, since both those songs are nominated for Rap Song of the Year and Rap Performance of the Year, and this would be a potentially seismic moment in the wake of Drake's new lawsuit. Last Wednesday, Drake accused UMG of defamation for distributing and promoting Not Like Us, a song that's in the running for both Record and Song of the Year at this year's ceremony. And just to let Drake know, you can't sue the Grammys for picking a song that they like the most. And they continue, in our general field predictions, Billboard names Not Like Us as the projected winner of Record of the Year. And if you guys have been keeping up with the channel, then you know that I did a video on this a couple weeks back when Billboard first dropped these predictions, because they were fairly accurate in previous years. And this makes sense, right? Billboard is obviously the company that makes the Billboard charts, and their staff include a bunch of music industry insiders. They have a good knack for predicting this type of stuff because Grammy winners are decided by the Recording Academy, which is a professional organization of music industry insiders. The voting members include artists, songwriters, producers, engineers, and other music professionals. The members who actually have the right to vote must have creative or technical credits on at least 6 released songs to qualify as a voter. Each voter is allowed to vote in the general categories, so album, song, and record of the year, and then they're allowed to vote in up to 10 of the genre categories, so hip-hop, R&B, etc. It's not confirmed whether or not staff at Billboard are any of these independent voters, but they're definitely music industry insiders, and they said Kendrick's Not Like Us is a superb sounding single. Even if you don't know a thing about the bitter Kendrick and Drake feud that sparked it, it would be only the second hip-hop single to win in this category following Childish Gambino's This Is America. Kendrick's hit doesn't have the same socio-political significance that Gambino's hit had, but it may be even catchier and more broadly appealing. Also, there are 6 female solo artists in this category, most of them with a pop bent. They may split some votes, which would work towards Kendrick Lamar's advantage. What they're saying here basically is that because most of the other nominees in the Record and Song of the Year categories are all pop songs, so the votes will likely be evenly distributed amongst each of those different records. It's not like you had one massive hit that's an outlier that, let's say, was an R&B song, and then you had a bunch of R&B voters at the Grammys who all voted for that song. Instead, it's Kendrick Lamar and a bunch of other pop songs which were all massive hits, but relatively all equally as big. So it's more likely that each of them will get a relatively equal amount of votes, which leaves Kendrick's Not Like Us as an outlier since it's the only hip-hop song, but was also as big as all these other pop records. It's kind of like if you are at a gas station and you see one bag of chips versus like 5 different chocolate bars, and you had like 8 different people going into the store to pick out a snack. Odds are, even if that bag of chips isn't the most desired snack from each of the customers that's about to buy something, if each of those customers had to vote on what snack they wanted, the bag of chips would probably have the most amount of votes because there's a bunch of different chocolate bars, but only one bag of chips. The only difference is that Kendrick's Not Like Us record has more salt in it against Drake than a bag of chips does in general. On a side note though, speaking of Canadian chips, I didn't realize that you Americans didn't have ketchup chips for the longest time in America, and that's like a weird flavor for you guys. So drop a like for ketchup chips and drop a like for Kendrick winning Not Like Us at the Grammys. Now, before we get even further, because we have another outlet that has even done a better job at predicting Grammy winners and nominees than Billboard has, just to take you guys through the other songs that are nominated in this category, because Kendrick has some very tough competition here. So firstly is the Beatles with their song Now and Then, Beyonce's song Texas Hold'em, Sabrina Carpenter's Espresso, which was a massive song, Charlie XCX's 360, Billie Eilish's Birds of a Feather, Chappelle Roan's Good Luck Babe, Taylor Swift and Post Malone with Fortnite, and Kendrick's Not Like Us. So as you can see, a bunch of pop songs, a couple country pop songs, and then this one hip hop song. So there's this Twitter account by the name of the Grammy Guru who have been making predictions on who are going to be the nominees at this year's show. Now they're predicting who is going to win in all of these categories. They provide some reasons for their predictions as well, and they also interview various different anonymous registered voters at the Grammys to see who they're going to be voting for and why. And somehow this Twitter page has been a lot more accurate than any other predictors, including Billboard, with their predictions of who the nominees were. We're going to break down how accurate they were, and they tweeted out as a pre-warning, there are over 13,000 voting members of the Recording Academy, and we'll be sharing the votes and thought processes of only a handful of them. Try not to overreact to the choices by coming to conclusions, but think of it more as a fun peek into the mindset of how some Grammy voters decided to cast their votes. We'll get into a couple of their predictions of other artists and songs as well. For example, they said Chris Brown could win his second ever Grammy Award with his song Sensational as a top contender for Best African Music Performance. His first and so far only Grammy win was over 10 years ago at the 2012 Grammys with his album Fame winning Best R&B Album. And as far as Best Rap Album this year, they said it was initially an open race, but as time progressed, Doechie's path as the frontrunner has become very apparent. Doechie's thorough Grammy campaign has done a marvelous job of showcasing her and her artistry to voters, alongside viral moments causing Alligator Bites Never Heal to reach new commercial success. Historically, there are multiple cases of albums with passion and acclaim winning this category over far more successful ones, and Doechie could very well end up as the latest example. And I think that would be great to see. If you guys have been keeping up with Doechie, then you know that her mixtape that came out in August, Alligator Bites Never Heal, I think it opened up with about like 10,000 copies in the first week, but it's only been selling more and more each week due to the popularity of the massive promotional campaign that she went on, performing on Tiny Desk, different late night shows, getting cosigns by both Kendrick Lamar and SZA. If you haven't checked that album out, highly suggest you do. But despite this, Future and Metro Boomin's We Don't Trust You remains as a potential spoiler as the biggest nominated album and the adoration that the song Like That off that album had received. Yet, the fact that Future's only Grammy wins had highly respected rap titans attached to them, like Kendrick Lamar, Drake, Killer Mike, and Andre 3000, could indicate that voters are not in a rush to award him on his own. Basically saying, like, he's not a Grammy darling. Like, even though the album was massive, it's not like where Kendrick just opened his mouth, someone's gotta hand him a Grammy. Future only really wins them on collaborations with other highly acclaimed artists like Kendrick or Killer Mike, etc. Past Grammy winners Eminem, the most awarded artist ever in this category with 7 wins, and Common, who is currently conducting a smaller but still noteworthy campaign, are also ones to watch out for to a lesser degree. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they gave this to Eminem. All the nominees are Doechie, Alligator Bites Never Heal, Future and Metro Boomin, We Don't Trust You, Eminem, The Death of Some Shady, Common and Pete Rock's album, and J. Cole's album. There's also another prediction company that responded to this tweet saying that, according to their predictions, We Don't Trust You has a 61% chance of winning, while Doechie only has a 22% chance. But they're basically basing Doechie winning this off of the strong campaign that she's done to promote the album, and they said that the heavy campaign by last year's winner, Michael by Killer Mike, played a big part in it beating the far more successful Her Loss by Drake and 21 Savage. But now we get to Kendrick Lamar, as he's also nominated for Best Music Video at the Grammys, and it's a close race between his record Not Like Us and Taylor Swift's record Fortnite. And they said that the visuals in Not Like Us played a key aspect in Kendrick's victory in his feud with Drake, making them an integral part of the song, which we know that because Drake literally mentioned visuals from the music video in his lawsuit against UMG. But they said, in addition, it's the biggest nominated song and it stands the best chance at a win in the general field. On a side note, they also say that their quote-unquote experts confidently rule out New Blue Sun by Andre 3000 as competitive contender to win Album of the Year at this year's Grammys. They do say, though, that Beyonce could make history and become the first black artist to win Best Country Album at the Grammys with her album Cowboy Carter, which would be an amazing accomplishment and great to see, considering she has some pretty stiff competition there. As much as I'm not a fan of country, it's one of the most popular genres today. They also noted some interesting stats in that the artist with the most Album of the Year nominations as a lead artist without a win in Grammys history are Beyonce, Kendrick, Kanye, Lady Gaga. Meaning these are the 4 artists who have been nominated the most times for Album of the Year but have not won it. Kanye with College Dropout, Late Registration, Graduation, and Donda, and Kendrick with Good Kid Mad City, To Pimp a Butterfly, Damn, and Mr. Morale. And to think they snubbed all 8 of those classic albums is just insane to me, but that's why we don't take the Grammys that seriously these days. Now, as for who's gonna win the Best Rap Song and Best Rap Performance, according to the experts over at the Grammy Guru, the songs ranked in terms of likelihood of winning the awards. For Best Rap Song, it goes number 1, Not Like Us by Kendrick, number 2, Like That by Future and Kendrick, number 3 would be Yaglo by Glorilla, 4 is Asteroids by Rhapsody, and 5 is Carnival by Kanye. I don't think they're going to give it to Kanye after he peed on his last Grammy, but I've been saying for months now, Not Like Us is 100% winning in both the rap categories. Hold me to that right now. Now, as for the first anonymous voter that they interviewed, this voter actually didn't vote for Not Like Us for record or Song of the Year. This person is a craftsperson in their mid-20s, so not a hip-hop artist or anything like that. They did say, though, I'm not a huge Billie Eilish fan, but Birds of a Feather really impressed me. I was between that song and Not Like Us for Song of the Year, while Good Luck Babe strikes me as a perfectly crafted tune for Record of the Year. But now the second anonymous voter that they interviewed is a rap/dance artist in their early 40s, and they voted Not Like Us as both Record and Song of the Year, stating, I picked Not Like Us for both Record and Song of the Year. absolutely defined the culture this year and has already solidified itself as an all-time great hip-hop track. The Album of the Year nominees this year are just alright. Billie Eilish was close to getting my vote, but the message of Cowboy Carter is so powerful and highlighted important history, so the choice was clear. Similar situation in Best New Artist. The Doechii album was fine, but nothing to excite me. To be honest, the only Shaboozey song I've ever heard is a bar song, but I respect what he represents as a black artist dominating the country world, and I voted for him. I don't agree on that Doechii take, but happy to see this person voted for Kendrick. As far as voters who were not hip-hop artists who voted for Not Like Us, they had a voter who is a pop-funk instrumentalist in their late 30s who voted Not Like Us as both Record of the Year and Song of the Year. They also voted for Andre 3000's Fluid album New Blue Sun as Album of the Year. And I want to take you through the accuracy of the quote-unquote experts on this Twitter page, the Grammy Guru. See, they predicted all of the nominees before they were ever announced, and they were extremely, almost scarily accurate. For Song of the Year, they had Shaboozey's A Bar Song, Billie Eilish's Birds of a Feather, Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars' Die With a Smile, Taylor Swift, Post Malone with Fortnite, Chappelle Roan with Good Luck Babe, Kendrick with Not Like Us, Sabrina Carpenter with Please Please Please, and Beyonce with Texas Hold'em. And they literally nailed it to a T. Those were all of the nominees for Song of the Year. And I'm just reading this stuff off to you guys if you're asking or questioning, how can we really trust the credibility of their predictions? They call themselves experts, and I'm assuming they're using past data, along with, obviously, communication that they have with industry insiders, some who are actual voters at the Grammys. And while again they emphasize there's over 13,000 voters at the Grammys, you could get a good pulse off where people are leaning towards by speaking to people who are actually involved in the process, looking at the actual success, the data, the sales, the numbers of these songs, the cultural impact they've had, previous trends at the Grammys, how these artists have been favored in the past at the Grammys, along with the campaigns that each of these artists who made these songs have been going on. Just like they said with Doechii, scoring industry points by having a tiny desk that racks up a bunch of views, or seeing an increase in your streams after you do these different interviews and performances. Those are the type of things that industry insiders like to see and like to award. As for the Grammy Guru's predictions on the Record of the Year, they basically got every prediction correct, except for instead of Benson Boone's Beautiful Thing song being nominated, it was instead Taylor Swift and Post Malone's Fortnite song. So they got 8 out of 9 for that one. And they even said, out of all the media publications, our team of expert predictors here at the Grammy Guru had the best accuracy for predicting the 2025 Grammy nominations. We are also the only publication to predict a category 100% accurately, going 8 for 8 in Song of the Year. And as you could see, they predicted things more accurately than a bunch of massive, highly established publications like Billboard, Gold Derby, Variety, Los Angeles Times, Pitchfork, and Rolling Stone. They beat out all of them. Their predictions were more accurate than any of them, this random Twitter account. So when they say expert, I think we should at least hear them out on what their predictions for the actual winners of the Record and Song of the Year are going to be. And I didn't realize this was like an actual sport where there's like real predictors of the Grammys, who's going to win and everything. And then there's websites that actually rank these predictors and who was the most accurate. So as for the expert predictors over at the Grammy Guru, they say that 5 of our expert admins ranked top 10 out of over 3,000 users on Gold Derby's 2024 Grammys predictions, including 2 of which who achieved the number 1 and number 2 spots. So basically, again, they had the most accurate predictors for the nominations. We could probably trust them on who the winners are going to be. And last week they said, our experts have narrowed down Song of the Year at this year's Grammys to an immensely competitive face-off between Billie Eilish, Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars, and Kendrick Lamar. Billie and Bruno's songs will duke it out as incredibly cross-genre appealing pop songs, with both Billie Eilish and Bruno Mars vying to make history as the first artist to win this category 3 times. However, Not Like Us remains steadily in the race, as its genre support amongst rap and R&B voters may be enough to secure a photo finish win. So those are their predictions for the Song of the Year. They think it's either going to go to Billie Eilish, Bruno Mars and Lady Gaga, or Kendrick Lamar. They interviewed about 10 different anonymous voters. Not Like Us received the most votes of those 10 voters, with 3 votes out of 10. Again, it's not an absolute landslide, but when Not Like Us, a rap record, is going up against a bunch of different pop records, and you have a majority, at least of these voters that the Grammy Guru published, these voters, the majority of them are alternative pop artists. So for Not Like Us to still rack up all these votes, and again, a lot of these other songs are pop songs, so the votes are more equally distributed amongst them, Not Like Us stands out as the only outlier here. But it had as much popularity and arguably more cultural significance than any of the other records in this category. And sorry, I made a mistake here. Out of all the different anonymous voters that they interviewed, Not Like Us is tied with Die With a Smile for the most votes for Song of the Year with 3 each. But then for Record of the Year, Not Like Us has the most votes out of all the different voters that they interviewed with 4. And again, that's the same category that Billboard predicted Not Like Us would win in, Record of the Year, not Song of the Year. And they're dropping new interviews with new anonymous Grammy voters each day. The most recent one I saw as I'm making this video was with their 11th voter, who voted for Not Like Us as Record and Song of the Year and voted Doechii as Best New Artist of the Year, also voting Beyonce's Cowboy Carter album as Album of the Year. And this is a poet/spoken word artist in their 40s. They said there's one record that completely took over for most of the year, not simply for its artistic merits, but also for its ability to shift the cultural experience, and that was Not Like Us. Many other songs were great, but when I think about what song will define 2024 for me, it's Kendrick's piece. From the record drop to the live performances, it shifted something in the conversation about what's next in hip-hop and the music industry as a whole. People wanted more authenticity and less glamour. This song was the evidence. And of course, it takes a poet/spoken word artist to actually be able to fully appreciate the cultural shift that Not Like Us created. So all in all, whether it's between Billboard predictions, the anonymous voters, or the Grammy Guru's predictions, most people have Not Like Us as being a shoo-in for Record of the Year. Again, it'd be only the second hip-hop song in history to ever win this award. They also predict that it's going to sweep in the whole rap category, winning both Rap Song and Rap Performance of the Year. And he's duking it out with Taylor Swift for the Best Music Video of the Year. So just picture this, right? Not Like Us this Sunday winning anywhere from 2 to 5 Grammy Awards, with most industry experts and actual voters at the Grammys leading to the conclusion that it's definitely going to sweep the 2 rap nominations and most likely Record of the Year. I don't usually care much for the Grammys, but I think it'll be a massive statement, a massive cultural shift if a song like this ends up winning in one of these main categories, making history for hip-hop in general. Now, then we also got to look at the producer of the song, DJ Mustard, because he was nominated for the Grammy for Producer of the Year, and he actually did a sit-down interview with the Grammys where they asked him about Not Like Us and a couple other songs that he did on Kendrick's GNX. Remember, he did about 3 or 4 out of the 12 songs on GNX. His sound was definitely extremely prevalent on that project. And the interviewer asked, I gotta ask you about TV Off. In previous interviews, you mentioned sending Kendrick beats every day. Was this included in one of your beat packages? Whose idea was it to scream your name? Mr. Ketchup said, even after Not Like Us, I continue, still to this day, sending him 5 or 6 beats a day. On a side note, I hope we get more Mustard and Kendrick music. He continues, we have this folder where I just drop new stuff in. The first half of TV Off and the second half are 2 different beats that he just connected. I didn't send it to him like that. It was just like, out of these 5 beats, he picked 2. I didn't hear the song until it came out. I had heard Hey Now during the Not Like Us video shoot. He played me a snippet. I asked him, man, what made you do that? And he said, when I heard that beat, I just felt like Goku or something. I was like, what? And he explained, yeah, when I hear certain stuff on your beats, it brings out something else in me. So I just did whatever I felt. I was like, wow, that's crazy. And I'm not a big anime guy. I should probably get into that. But just by hearing the song Hey Now, I could picture Kendrick Lamar channeling his inner cartoon supervillain character when he was recording that track. They continue asking him about Not Like Us because Mustard actually didn't know that Kendrick rapped over his beat when he dropped the song in the battle with Drake. The producer of the record only found out about it when the world did. So the interviewer said, you didn't know Not Like Us was coming out. You were on your way to a baby shower and suddenly you received messages from people telling you that Kendrick had dropped another song. How long ago did you make that beat before it was released? Mustard said, my manager's birthday was April 7th and that track was made on his birthday. I remember it because it was the last beat I made before heading to his dinner. I remember Kendrick replying saying, this one is crazy, but I didn't think it was the craziest out of the pack. Later on, the team asked me about the sample in it or something like that. So I knew he had rapped over it, but I didn't know it was Not Like Us. People always ask for samples, and sometimes they can't clear them, so it didn't come out. The sample is from the same jazz player, Monk Higgins, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that name, who was sampled in TV Off. It's the same band playing different songs, and I guess that's why TV Off and Not Like Us sound so similar sonically. They use samples from the same band, and I just think it's incredible, right? Mustard made the beat on April the 7th. The song Not Like Us was released on May 4th. That means Kendrick Lamar created that track, obviously in less than a month, because April 7th to May 4th. But to everyone who was saying, oh, he probably had all these disses tucked in the cut, they were pre-recorded, he wasn't really rapping on the go the same way Drake was during the battle when they were both dropping track after track. It shows you that not only did Kendrick create this extremely quickly, but he also created it basically right in the heat of the battle and after he set off that first shot with Like That with Future. We know this not only because Mustard actually only made the beat after Like That was released, but also because there's a lot of references in Not Like Us to specific bars that Drake rapped on Family Matters. The whole rapping like you trying to get the slaves freed, that whole bar was flipped on the third verse of Not Like Us when he rapped Once Upon a Time all of us in chains, homie still doubled down calling us some slaves. Then he gets into the whole Atlanta thing. Also, the final bar of that verse, the Family Matters and the truth of the matter, it was God's plan to show you the liar, flipping off the title of the Family Matters diss track that Drake dropped less than 24 hours before Not Like Us came out. This is a 5 times nominated Grammy Award that Kendrick dropped amongst 5 other diss records in the span of less than 5 days that has generated over $5 million, is over 5 times platinum, has over 500 billion streams, and it was created in less than 5 weeks before it was released. Just incredible to think of Kendrick's actual work ethic. When everyone says, oh, Kendrick takes too long to craft records, blah, 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 he takes too long in between albums. Look what he did in less than a month. Gave us 5 massive diss tracks, and obviously we could see, like Mustard said, he kept quiet, no one knew about them, and he recorded them extremely quickly. Even Kai Cenat had to say that Kendrick won this whole thing. He said, I'm cool with Drake, so people would expect me to be on Drake's side, but I'm not gonna lie, Kendrick won that battle. It was good. I loved every second of it. I was just appreciating the moment. And I think we all were just appreciating that moment, but now it's Kendrick's turn to appreciate the moment, alright? Because the next 2 Sundays are about to be monumental. A diss song that was so ruthless and so massive that it caused a defamation lawsuit to be filed is now about to be played on the biggest stage in the world and will probably make history as one of the first hip-hop tracks to ever win a Grammy for Record or Song of the Year. Let all that sink in, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.